run from it, dread it. Comic conversation arrives all the same. We are back for another episode. It is Thursday. The three of us are here. The three Norsemen, not the four. Not Chris. Edwin will be out doing his jazzercise again. So we have a lot to talk about. Big thing this weekend, of course. A couple big things. The biggest of the big is Avengers Endgame. So we'll be talking about that. Not so much the plot-wise, but there's some news already for it in terms of the box office. Some big run on that, literally, and numbers are pretty impressive. So we'll talk about that briefly. We do have next week. We'll have the results for the predictions, and we'll be able to find out who won and get that prize sent out. So I do want to confirm what Chris said last week over on Justin's channel. We did the show there. When they did, yes, there is a prize for that. So once we find out the winner, we'll be able to get that sent out. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Do want to catch up. John Cena's in the news. So we'll talk about John Cena. Let's talk about. I know. Yep, you can see him in the.
No,
news.
you can't. You can't see him.
And plenty of other stuff. So we'll get to all that. I do want to talk about Heroes in Crisis. I do want to talk about War of the Realms. Haven't gotten to talk about that with you guys yet, so that'll be part of the show as well. And if you want to know what one of Stan Lee's last project was before he passed, we'll talk about it here. And no, it was not a cameo. So little teaser for you. I am curious though. We'll get into what you guys have been up to in the past week. I want to shout out Take the Time Collectibles. He is here. Finally made a live show. He was the first, other than Justin. Everybody rolling up with their blue wrenches. If you could do us a favor, share this on your social media. Let's have a lot of other people join the conversation if we can. It's always a fun time in the chat, so the more the merrier. And if you're listening later, drop us a comment. If you are streaming this, also drop us a comment. And we are live only Thursday nights here in JLS Comics on YouTube, so you can check us out there. And we do show our faces. I normally do, moving some stuff around. So, and I got a movie on in the background. I'm watching Infinity War, prepping for that because I am seeing it later tonight. But I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. I want to find out what Justin's been up to in the past week. Haven't really talked to you much all week. I know you've been busy.
Nothing. Yeah, I was out of town, so unfortunately didn't get to do much of anything video related. But yeah, just been reading a lot of books, like War of the Realms, things like that, Daredevil. That was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, lots of good stuff, especially like this. And then, even more exciting, the stuff that came out yesterday. So just kind of been doing that. Coming up though, like it's Magic season. There's a new Magic set coming out. So I got a pre-release for that this weekend. So I've been playing heavily a lot of Magic the Gathering Arena. Sucks your life away.
Yeah. Seems like a new set comes out like every month or two, right?
Every quarter.
Oh, it's a quarter? Yeah.
They do it quarterly now. But it's pretty nuts. So that'll be Saturday. Lots of cards everywhere. Oh god. Paper cuts.
Yeah. Wear those little stickies on your fingers.
Right. But then Sunday morning I should have the results of how it went, hopefully.
Sweet. Hopefully you win. Didn't you win like some free cards last time or something like
that? Yeah. I did pretty good. I ended up, you get packs for every win. So.
That's what I was saying. Cool.
Nice.
So, any nice pulls in those?
I don't remember in those, but I mean, you get one rare, possibly a mythic in each pack, so you get something that's good. Yeah. Sometimes you get a foil. I got a foil bird. Yay!
Yeah, I got a foil island.
But yeah, it's just something fun to do.
Yeah, cool. All right, Chris, seen you putting up some haul videos lately.
Yes, I did. I've been see where Justin has no videos coming up. I have had a bunch. No, I had one that I put up, just kind of getting everything out that I went ahead and had been kind of storing up for the last couple weeks, just because this month, the month of April gets kind of tough for me, just because of my daughter's birthday, and then Easter came a little late this year, so it was just like trying to get everything all together and ready and everything else like that. I just wanted to show off the stuff that I picked up. And a couple of packages I've been picking up over the last couple of weeks as well. But I put that out, and then also actually just released. I had actually recorded it at the same time. I just didn't have the description and everything typed out right away. But I put up another video with a crossing off a couple more books off my top comics list. So you know, you can go ahead and watch both of those. And you know, just kind of gearing up for the con this weekend, which is going to be awesome. And Endgame, and you know, Game of Thrones, and just so much stuff going on. But just for me, I'm really excited for this convention just because it's you know, like as it says in the title, it's just an old school con, so it's just artists and books, and that's it. So it's just like you know, the whole premise of the entire thing is just all about the comics, all about getting, you know, just good buys, and you know, overall, like the VIP pass that was, you know, supposed to be exclusive, and that is exclusive and is like only numbered to 100 people, is only $25. I'm just like, $25 for getting to the con an hour early, and you know, VIP treatment and all that jazz. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what days are you going? Like Saturday, Sunday, or something? Saturday?
It's a one-day con, so it's just a Saturday.
All
right.
I'm definitely going to be there. I am definitely going to be, you know, just doing my best to see what I can score in that first hour. Hopefully, you know,
I wonder what that Thor 390 is going to be selling for there.
You know, that's a good question. I mean, the fun part with all that is just, you know, how much it jumped up out of nowhere, and you know, speculations run wild, so we never know what's going to happen. But I mean, if it's something where, I mean, because I showed one off in my haul, so that's part of my one of my books I picked up, and I picked it up a little bit ago when it was still, you know, just kind of not fully into the whole speculation mode yet. So I got that for $3, and I was just like, okay, $3, no problem.
Yeah,
So
no, I mean,
had no problem with that.
I've only got one of it, but I picked it up however long ago, just picking up random Thor books. You know, there wasn't anything special about it.
Yeah, I picked it up last week before all that news, like all that. Like I think the next day is when it started shooting up, like it did.
Mhm.
But I just got it because it's like a cool story, and you know, like I was kind of looking at something like, hey, you know, that's something I want to read. I actually got it when I picked up my new books over it with Brian B. Well, shout out to Jack Yo and NES Master here as well.
That was the thing with it, is like, you know, my shop was just kind of like, you know, they always have kind of a back issue bin over in the corner, and it's just like there's usually good stuff in there, and it's just one of those things where, you know, there's just somebody had brought in a collection, so they took all the big books, put them on the wall, but then like all the, you know, basically like run filler books, I would just kind of like, all right, $3 each, you know, and it's just like, okay. And in that shop, what happens is that, you know, you're able to build up, they have a little sticker card, which, you know, you can just build up, and if you know, there's different denominations, but you can build up and just you turn them in for money off. So it's just like I was able to pick up, you know, I think 3 of those books basically for free. I was just like, okay, here you go. And then you just kind of go from there, just because, you know, and that's the time I think that is good to get. So similar to Justin, I was just like, all right, Cat picks up the hammer in this one. All right, that sounds cool. Like, I'd like to see that. And then, you know, all of a sudden people like, it's gonna be an end game. You gotta check it out. It's a speculation. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. That for me is just like, I just thought I was buying a cool Thor book just to, you know, kind of be like, yeah, Thor.
Yeah,
run a little bit
it's
more.
a good read, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So
people buy it because, oh my god, I might make some money off it. But guess what? Buy it because, oh my god, you can read it.
Right, exactly.
You know,
and that's the thing. Like, you know, it's fun when it's just like, you know, out of nowhere like that. But then on the other side of it too, it's just like, you know, if it's a series that you really like, it's just cool to be able to be like, oh, so not even only is it like, you know, now people are sought after it and everything, but it's cool to see a book that you picked up just kind of on a whim get some love, and it's like, oh, it's a super popular issue. It's just a great one to have. All right, I'm in. I'll take it all day. So
yeah, exactly.
Made me
happy.
happy.
And be like, yeah, I bought that 2 years ago when I started collecting this run.
That's right.
For all of you people, we're onto it.
So when G.I. Joe, when the G.I. Joe, either whatever movie comes out, I'll be able to be like, yep, get this whole run, and I can't wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun to sit there and you know,
It's going for $50
That's
that's
crazy.
the thing, man.
on
It's,
eBay.
Yeah.
people, I mean, people want to have the, people like to have, just the flavor of the month type book. And I'm not saying it's not a good story. It's a cool story, but it's just like, one of them things where it's just like sometimes it pays to kind of like, I know some people like to collect keys, like that's how some people go about it, and some people like to collect runs or just random issues from here and there. And sometimes it kind of pays to just either collect runs or just collect those random issues just because they look cool or they're at a good price. Because who's to say that, like, you didn't end up picking up something really just cool, and then
It's definitely heated up in the last like 24 hours. It's gone from like $30, like was the high for like 2 days ago, to yesterday one went for 75.
Dang.
Now they're all going
That's
for like
crazy.
close to 50.
that's, I mean,
That's insane.
yeah. So hey, if you got them and you don't need them, I guess it's time to get rid of it. But if you get it and you like it and you make, see, I told everybody, because there's always somebody who's gonna sit there and be like, I told you guys this is a badass story and it deserves to get some respect, and now it finally is. That's the way I feel about some of my X-Men books. It's like, yeah, good. It's finally good to see some of them getting some love, because I'm telling you,
Right.
but like, there's some great stories and the X-Men and everything, and it's just like, so if you're a big Thor person, it's just like, yeah, see some of these Thor books I picked up that everyone laughed at me for. Well, guess what? Getting
Yeah.
it.
I got to do a special shout out. This is a shout out to the great legend. Thanks for watching us live. I could have done that better, but I haven't practiced that.
Yeah, it's okay. For the moment, you did great.
This is the great legend. Yeah, I wish I could do it as good as he does. But okay, so we're talking about like flavor of the month books. Are you guys picking up, or have you read whatever Naomi?
No, not yet.
No, I picked up issue 3 because everybody was like, "Oh my god, issue 3!" So I picked it up.
I did not. I haven't picked up anything having to do with it, just because. I mean, it's just off of my radar. I'm not saying anything bad about the book. Not saying it's not a good read or anything like that. Just, it just wasn't one that was on my radar, and it just, I just kind of let it pass by. But, from, I don't know if the hype is necessarily. I mean, I don't know if it's as good as what the hype is for it and everything. Just because I guess people are really speculating on it, but. I mean, if it is, then hey, man, good stuff. Because it's good to see, even though it's a brand new title, it's still good to see people be excited about it, because that just means that that's gonna give that character's longevity and really put them into some good stories going forward. So,
Absolutely.
I
think it's fun to kind of get caught up in the hype and the speculation for it. And I do like speculation in that it might like force you to look up something or learn about something you might not otherwise have, or maybe read something that you wouldn't have gotten if that hadn't been put on your radar. So that part's cool. But there's a flip side to it too, where you have to do your own research. Don't rely just on one app or one post or one person for your information. And the reason I'm saying that is there was some news out there that I think it was Action 1002 had Superman and a girl on the cover flying. Yep. And people were like, hey, that's Naomi. That's like her true first appearance or something like that, or her origin or whatever it was. And everybody jumped on that book. And then Bendis came out and said, no, that is absolutely not Naomi. Do not, you know what I mean? But if people had done their research, if they had, not just relied on, one source or one person for that, maybe they wouldn't have picked up the book. So I do say, by all means, and obviously whatever your reason is for going there, whether you want to read it, collect it, whether you want to try to make a little bit of money off of it, you're still buying the book. So ultimately I would say that's helping your shop out. Maybe it kind of pisses people off if you buy every copy of it, but that's for another conversation. But if you're going to do that, make sure you're doing your research, being smart about it, learning who these people are before you pick it up, instead of just blindly buying whatever somebody tells you to buy. So.
Well, that's like also too Major X. Like people went ahead. I guess I don't know who exactly went ahead and said it, but they were just like, he appears in the Spider-Man Deadpool book, and then Liefeld came out and like freaked out. I was like, no, he did not. This is it here, and and it's like, I mean, not saying that book's ever going to heat up, because I don't think it will. I'm going to end up being anything spectacular. Like I said it, no offense to anyone who likes Rob Liefeld or anything. I just felt like, I picked up, the last one, and it's just like not even close. It like the first one, they came out guns blazing, and they had all these like big moments in it because they wanted to get everybody involved. And the second one just fell flat for me. So, but I just know the controversy that came about, and I guess a whole bunch of people that tried to get it. And Liefeld is notorious for blocking anybody who kind of decides that they're gonna disagree with him.
Anyone who questions him gets pushed to the back of the line, and
that's right.
Yeah, you get blocked. You get blocked.
so all I did was
hilarious.
Batch of Liefeld blockies, which is funny.
Yeah, right. Join the group. I did a whole video on that whole controversy. You know, it did pretty well actually. In terms of viewership. But I'm surprised I haven't been blocked yet. So.
Just give him time.
My only interaction is the interview, and that was pretty positive. So,
yeah, I mean, I will say, for me, for Rob, he kind of defined the '90s for me. When I was really getting into comics, it was the early Image stuff, and that was like all Liefeld stuff. And maybe the art and the anatomy is questionable, but it was really energetic and dynamic, and really fun time to be in comics. So, major props for that. And then like Justin said with the interview that he did with him, he's like us, he's kind of like kid in an adult's body basically, and he gets like all excited and he's all energetic and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
No, he's well, and if you actually talk to him or listen to his interviews, like if you just have he's really an infectious like comic book enthusiast. That or he's just a great PR person, but he talks about what he likes along with a lot of what he creates and that stuff. But it's fun to talk to the guy or listen to the guy talk, whether you like him or not. It's a fun interview, Yeah.
Right. And I think people, I mean, I'm not trying to full out defend him or anything like that, because I don't, I just look at it like this. I mean, there's plenty of comics where, it's if you have a solid story behind it, it really doesn't matter what it full out looks like. I mean, there's plenty of comics that are out there. Not to say that they're all like hero comics, but just books in general with illustrations that are basically stick figures and stuff. And but the story behind it is good enough to sell it, so people will go ahead and get it. So it's just I know it's just become just a big joke to kind of get it. Rob, like, oh, look at this guy, and this is terrible. Like, I can agree. The cover for issue number 2 was horrible. It was horrendous looking. But I mean,
Wolverine's claws went all the way up to his elbow if he retracted them.
Yeah, and that's the fun part. It's just like you look at that and everybody wants to get all technical, but then it's just like I've seen plenty of videos where people will get extremely technical about why it's like nonsensical to even like some of the people that you do, because there's no possible way that they'd be like saying that like superheroes that like Superman would be a menace. Like there's no way he could save you mid-flight. He'd break you in half. What's it called? The Flash. If there was ever someone that had superpower, super speed, just the particles and dust in the air, you need a specialized suit to be able to run that fast, or rip off your skin off and all the rest of it.
There's always going to be a negative Nancy, Chris.
Oh, of course. And that's what I'm saying. Is it's like it's just funny that like people, well, if he did this, then this will. It's like, dude.
That's why it's called fiction. That's why it's called
fiction. Exactly. And you know what? If you like something, if you're enjoying reading it, don't let anybody tell you that's wrong. Keep enjoying it, keep reading it.
Now, I will say I didn't enjoy reading it. Not to say that you're right to sit there and rip them apart, but the guy's made all the money he can possibly make doing this, and probably actually I shouldn't say that. He's made a lot of money doing this and is going to make a lot more before it's all said and done. So all the criticism, he can take it or can't take it. He'll just block you all day and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna block you while I cash this shit.
Exactly. He's obviously with Deadpool and everything. That's like his character made it over to the MCU. Nobody else did. But then he's also got his deal coming up with the whole Extreme universe with Netflix. So there's still a lot more of his characters on the way. So he, say what you want about him, but he parlayed what he did into nice, hefty sum of cash.
Yep.
So, I want to get back to what I was kind of. You guys gave your updates.
Yep.
I've been putting out some videos. I actually sat down this week and plotted out until July all of the videos that I want to do. Some of them take like some pre-work, some little bit of prep time. So it's not everything. It's just
on pictures.
like the origin videos. Yeah, exactly. That's part of it. So like the origin videos that I've been doing. So I got that plotted out. Like till the beginning of July it is, and then like the live show. And I want to try to do like maybe haul video as part of another live show at some point in the week. I haven't like worked that out yet, but I will have the 2 pre-recorded videos, and then we'll have this live show. So at least till July, I'm planning on like 3 videos a week output.
There you go.
So that's pretty good, right? One of my challenges is always with this has always been having a consistent schedule with when I put out the videos. And I see like all the really successful channels that are always putting out, videos pretty regularly. So I figure, I got to try to up my output somehow. So making moves for that. But that leads me to something I wanted to ask. If you guys or anybody listening or watching has any like character or whatever that you want me to cover for a video, I'd be happy to add that to the list. It would be like July into August when I can get it done, but I will add it to the list. So I'm always like happy to do that. I might do something on like War of the Realms when it's done, or something like that, but that'd be pretty cool. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. But that's in the future. Let's talk about this weekend. I want to find out, I know Chris and I talked about it briefly. What are you, or when I should say, are you seeing Avengers Endgame?
Tomorrow night at 6:30.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll be seeing it on Sunday night at 7.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, there's that topic. No, I'm just kidding.
Locked in and good to go.
Yeah, moving on. No, I'm seeing it tonight actually, and then tomorrow as well. So I'm pretty excited for that. We haven't seen it, so obviously no spoilers here. I'm getting both of these down. Thinking Shazam. I'm also gonna do one on Black Adam. I think Great Legend. I'm gonna write down Nth Man too. But it's already been in the news. It's crazy. It's what was I gonna say? It's breaking box office records. Internationally, I think it was at 169 million overseas already. Just Thursday. It broke records in China, in Taiwan, Thailand, Australia, Korea. They all like smashed their records, right? And it's on track to do maybe $1 billion worldwide. Worldwide, this weekend. Yeah, in one weekend. So that's pretty crazy. And then what I was going to say, we talked about this before when we were doing our predictions. Is that because of the length of it, there's obviously a finite amount of theaters. Theaters are open like a certain amount of hours.
Yep.
So if you look at the amount of theaters, the runtime of 3 hours and 2 minutes, there's really a wall that it would hit, like a ceiling, in terms of. But they're doing now. They said, okay, well, how can we fix that? So now some of the theaters are actually doing 24 hours. They're gonna be open 24 hours. There's gonna be showings at like 4 a.m. Some places.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the theaters around here are running like, however many theaters they have. Say they have 10 theaters. Mm-hmm. 8 of them are running Avengers.
Yeah. Right.
They're saying the heck with other movies this weekend. Like they've all ordered extra rolls so they can screen it in more theaters.
Which literally destroys it. That's the thing that you have to be afraid of if you're if you're competition. Like at this point in time, especially this movie. I'm not gonna say that every other Marvel movie is gonna put it like that. But when they build up to something like this, it's just like you can't release at the same time. You're just gonna get absolutely obliterated and end up and it could be a good movie. It could be something that should have been successful, but it's absolutely gonna flop next to something that big. Like you just can't do it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Normally, I like to see the movies early. You guys know I do like the early reviews and stuff like that. But like there are some movies like this, for example, or I don't know, like the Star Wars movies, especially the early ones, or like Avatar, the Harry Potter. It's a cultural experience. It's like part of the part of the zeitgeist, so to speak. And it's fun to be part of that, and go with everybody else and kind of like see, like, because I don't like opening weekends and stuff. Everybody will like dress up, and like the theater does special stuff. So there's like certain movies like that like I don't want to see it early. I want to see it with everybody else and kind of like be part of that whole like hype and experience and stuff. So, but I will say for this one, I could have gone to Miami tomorrow for something, or driven up all the way like 4 hours early to Orlando to see it early. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Just yeah. So I got on the day when AMC opened up their ticket sales. Remember that?
Yeah.
Crashed. Managed to get the one for tonight. And then me and a few people are going to go tomorrow and see it. So that was more of a easy ticket to get because we got a few of them. So there's that. And I was going to say something else about the movie.
The latest I have around me that's starting tonight is like 10:45. So
okay.
Probably not. I'm like I said, I'm already roped in or locked into tomorrow. But,
yeah, I mean, you got your tickets. So if you find something now, it's gonna be like all the way up front, or like you're gonna be like smashed up against the wall.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth it at this point.
Yeah, not a good spot.
Yeah, that's why we're going at 7, just because there were other showings earlier in the day, but it was just like, I mean, first 2 rows. Actually, so where I'm at is in the 3rd row, but the 3rd row is far enough back that you're not just like literally staring up. So and they have seats that recline, but even that's not like, I mean, it's still not comfortable to look straight up like that. So but yeah, I it was a struggle to find one that was actually playing with a decent amount of just open space. It's just tough to figure out where it is that you're going to be able to go and see it for this opening weekend. I mean
yeah,
other than that though, I mean, it's just even trying to go in the morning, which usually has been kind of like just like go to them, like, I'll just go in the morning, no one's there. I mean, even the early morning shows, people are waking up to go see it early just to be able to get out there first, just because I feel like people are either just that excited for it that it's just like they just don't want to have somebody else potentially be like wait a week and then see all the different stuff that comes out, and then potentially end up hearing something that you don't want to hear or seeing something that you don't want to see.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be crazy. And up here it's just like there's some theaters that I think the earliest showing that they are able to do is 7:00 at night. So a lot of people I think are people around this way have already been able to kind of first showing should be getting over in about an hour or so. So
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about the same here,
Yep.
Finish about an hour, like an hour to clean up, and then it's my turn.
Make sure that I just kind of don't look just make sure to really be I guess eagle-eyed on Facebook, so it's just like or anything that comes up, it's like, oh, I saw them, but nope, gonna go ahead and skip whatever you said.
Yeah, we gotta be really careful until you see it. Try to avoid as many spoilers as you can.
I say that's my whole thing. Like I want to be going into this as blind as anything, just so I can be like, all right, now I'm here. Let me see it. All right, here we go. So
yeah. So yeah, we'll be talking more about the movie, but maybe not details. We'll wait. And, in terms of like, we don't do spoilers here, anyways. But people consider anything a spoiler. So we want to be cognizant of that and not spoil anything. So we'll talk about it next week a little bit more, still spoiler free, but we get to talk about really the box office performance and get that prize out there. So they're talking about Shazam in the theater. I mean, in the chat, and it's still out. I think it's projected to make another 9 million this weekend. So there's no new movies coming out. Nobody wanted to compete with Endgame, but there's still a bunch of movies out that are still gonna have something turn out. Like Us is still out, La Llorona is still out, a few other movies, so Shazam is another one. Someone's phone's ringing. So there's that. Yeah, so that's Marvel. Let's balance it out here. Do we like balance in the universe, right, Thanos?
Can talk about some Valiant now.
We could, yeah. Jack is here. Do you have Valiant news? Because I didn't
Yeah, man. Brett Booth has moved over to Valiant.
like exclusive contract type.
I don't know if it's exclusive or if it's just, but I mean, he's on Rye. He's going to be on the new Rye series. So like, in it, at least 6 issues I know of, his name's attached to. So.
Okay. Oh yeah. With Tim Seeley, right? Still in Bloodshot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's like set in the future or something. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but it looks really, really cool.
Yeah, comes out in December. Okay, yeah, I have it here. Tim Seeley, who did Shatterstar, and Brett Booth. Bloodshot would replace. Oh, I guess it can replace the prequel series, Bloodshot Rising Spirit.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Cool.
Looks really cool, the art that I've seen for it already.
Yeah. Tim Seeley said, I don't feel like I need to reinvent the wheel with Bloodshot. What I need to do is tell a big, crazy story that can only be done in comics. And I need to be powerful and emotional and relevant in a way only comics can do. And then Brett Booth said, I've been looking for a project I could really cut loose on. The first issue is pretty nuts. It gets right to the action, which I love, and then sets up the rest of the story. It's a great jumping on point. So, yeah, for sure. Then he said, that up. Tim Seeley was talking about Brett Booth. He said, his style synthesizes what 90s comic book artists figure out, how to do big, cool action comics that look visceral and powerful, that meld perfectly with my approach, meaning Tim Seeley, to the book. So the pairing sounds really good. Sounds like high energy, a lot of action, big, crazy fun. Yep. And it's Bloodshot. So, yeah.
Lots of movement, lots of poses.
Yeah. It's called Bloodshot Locked and Loaded.
Bloodshot
Locked and Loaded.
Yeah. Valiant's got a number of new things coming out. So if things at the big two are getting kind of stale, you might want to look toward Valiant for something new to read.
Yeah. Ever since I guess it was 2012 when they did their relaunch, they've just had some. And one of the things that really stands out for them is the quality of the books. They use that thicker, heavier cardstock for the cover. It feels price. Like exactly, and that is what the big two do is like their premium, like prestige format type. They save that for like the really expensive books, but Valiant's just doing it with every book. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, good on them.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about John Cena.
Hey.
Yeah.
Where is
he? He brought back an old shtick of his. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're going to talk about that he is in talks for the Suicide Squad, the sequel to Suicide Squad. I don't know who he'll be. Nobody knows. But he is in talks to play a character. So there's that. And then Idris Elba also is in talks. Yeah, we don't know what he's going to be. Will Smith dropped out as Bloodshot. Not Bloodshot. Deadshot, yeah. And people were like, oh, well, maybe he's going to be Deadshot. And it's confirmed that no, he will not. He will not be Deadshot. So we don't know. We do know Margot Robbie's coming back. Jay Courtney's back. He's Captain Boomerang. That's pretty much all we know at this point. James Gunn said, like, some of these characters, like, no, I don't want to use them again. So, like Bloodshot, for example. I said it again. Deadshot. So we know that, and that's basically it at this point. Who do you think Cena could play? King Shark?
Yeah, King Shark. That'd be funny.
Yeah. Rick Flag. Oh, yeah, you know what? Joel Kinnaman, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he could definitely play Flag, or they could just have a different, like, military liaison character type person. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Rando Argus person. I'll tell you what, I did not. For me, he was one of the weaker parts of Bumblebee. Really didn't enjoy his character. And he was like a military type in that. So.
Yeah. See, I can't picture Cena as like a villain in the DC universe.
Yeah. DC heel.
Like, oh, man, that's a tough one. I can't really see it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He could do what's the guy's name? Oh God. Bronze Tiger?
Yeah.
No,
that could work.
no, probably not.
Okay. I mean, as well. Be diversity casting.
Robert Downey Jr. did it in his movie. Who? I think Amanda Waller's going to be back too.
He could be Catman.
He could be Amanda Waller.
Yeah, the Wall. That could be his name.
That would be. I mean,
That
we have a
fits.
character named Michael that's female.
True.
Star Trek. So Suicide Squad, we could have an Amanda that's a guy.
Yeah.
Maybe Bane. Maybe Bane in the
Oh yeah,
Advanced
he could be
rating.
Bane.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, voice box. Just make him South. He just needs to be South American of some sort. That's all Bane was ever supposed to be.
Right. Yeah. So that actually ties into something next. Have you guys been watching? Well, actually, it doesn't, but I'll say it anyway. Gotham. There's Bane on there. Have you seen that? Have you liked that Bane version?
Nope, I haven't seen it.
Okay. The very last episode, like the series finale, not just the season, is actually on right now. It's like a time jump. All those other characters are done. And it's supposed to be like the final evolution to where this version of Bruce finally becomes Batman. The last episode, he went away. He left Catwoman and Alfred in basically this no man's land of Gotham, and he went off to do his like traveling and training. This last episode is supposed to be the 10-year time jump where he comes back as an adult.
Ooh.
And like his the estate's rebuilt, Wayne Tower's rebuilt. Everybody's like adults now, and I guess that's where we get like more of a truer version of the Penguin than we've seen. You know, like
right. We've seen that like preview picture of the Penguin and the Riddler together.
Yep,
and like,
exactly, and that's from this episode that's on right now, supposedly.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Gotcha. That'll be cool. And tie it to tie in with like Batman and with what we just talked about with John Cena. Figured out who he could play.
Yeah, one character,
the KG Beast.
There you go. Yeah,
that would work.
That would work. What about like Hush? He's a villain. I was just thinking of like a character. They never did Hush on Gifted. Oh no, not Gifted. On Gotham.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that. I would think they're probably gonna save that one.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about somebody with big muscles
too. I think that you want to have like a bigger character, so I think KG Beast would actually work out better.
Yeah, that's a really good fit.
Yeah.
Until he gets drowned by Batman.
Right.
Yeah. So Gotham's ending. Another show. This is I'll talk about this now. This is kind of the year of like cancellations and endings.
Yeah.
The Gifted is ending. They had season 2. That one's done. I know that the ratings like dropped in half for the second season. And same with viewership. It was like less than 2 million people watching it, which is pretty low for ratings.
Yeah.
So that's done. Preacher's ending. There's going to be the season 4 is the last season for Preacher. Obviously we're Endgame. Game of Thrones is ending this year. There's a huge episode coming up this week. Big battle with the Night King and stuff. Everybody's in Winterfell right now. Kind of like all these stories of kind of come together, you know, and
right.
It's this one thing. So that show's ending. Rise of Skywalker is the end of the Skywalker saga. What else is ending?
Everything.
Killjoys is ending.
Arrow. They announced it.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
That's over.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty sure Zombie's done too.
Yeah, that's a show that I just never got into.
Yeah, I didn't either.
For whatever reason, I just couldn't. I think it was initially it was coming on like Friday night or something weird like its first season, so I just missed it altogether. I think it was on some weird time.
Yeah. I think I watched like an episode or two and I was just like, I was telling somebody else the other day, like shows that I watched and like I've been following for a while, you know, it's like sad when they end, but at the same time, there's so much out there that I'm like a little bit relieved. I'm like, okay, one less thing to keep track of, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Enya said Cena could be Blockbuster.
Actually, I was thinking,
yeah.
When I said Catman, I meant to say Wildcat. He could be wild.
Ooh,
I could
that
see
would
that.
be cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's heavyweight boxer, but yeah, former boxer. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. If he's a good guy. But again, we're casting for Suicide Squad.
I don't know. I just feel like that's where I see Cena.
Yeah. Griff. That'd be cool. Have him show up in like the Birds of Prey with Black Siren. Or Black Canary, because he's the one that trained her.
That would be cool, yeah. That would be like a very organic tie-in and intro, you know. So that would work. All right, talking about shows, there's two I want to talk about. One is Why the Last Man. That's been like in development hell basically for like over a decade. They were talking about like a movie for a while. There's a show coming out, a series that's supposed to be out in sometime in 2020. There's no like official date. But this past week, the showrunners and the studio departed ways. Creative differences. They're still going to do the show, Why the Last Man. But it's probably going to be a little bit delayed while they find some new showrunners or a new showrunner. So that's kind of disappointing. And I think it was back in, was it February? It was finally ordered to series. So February to now, to the end of April. Not that long. So hope they find someone. And then the other show I want to talk about is Pennyworth. Got a little better of a look at that this week actually as well. That's a show that follows Alfred Pennyworth in his early days,
where he learns to become a butler.
Yes, that's right. He learns how to polish the porcelain, which sounds weird out of context.
It's a show that's going to air on PBS.
So that's coming out July this July 28th. So that's coming up. It's gonna be on EPIX channel. I don't know if you guys have that or not. And I have the synopsis here. It says 1960s Pennyworth follows espionage career of future Wayne family butler Alfred Pennyworth. There you go. It's his probably SAS life, you know.
So it's James Bond.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All right.
10 episode first season. It'll have Martha Wayne in it, Thomas Wayne. It's not the Alfred Sean Pertwee, I think his name is, from Gotham. It's another guy. But they do have the guy from Gotham named Bruno Heller, who I think was the showrunner for Gotham. So he's moving over to Pennyworth. So there's a little bit of a connection, but they're not tied together. They're not related. So. And then let's continue with the shows, and then we'll jump into the War of the Realms and the Heroes in Crisis. Especially the Heroes in Crisis. I want to talk about old Wally. Oh, what'd you do, Wally? CBS and Nickelodeon got together, and they said, hey, why don't we do a show? And they're both like, okay, what should it be about? And they both said, okay, let's do a Star Trek animated series. So they're like, okay, great idea. So they're going to be doing that, and it's basically a bunch of these kids find a ship and they go on these adventures with their ship. So that's what it is. Set in the Star Trek world.
Oh man, I remember that episode of Deep Space Nine. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
So don't know if I'm really gonna watch that one that much then. I don't know. I'll check it out, but I'm still like, I haven't made myself watch the last episode of season 2 of Star Trek Discovery yet. It came out last week. I haven't forced. Like, I want to watch it, but I want to savor it for a minute. So.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if they're renewed for a third season or not?
I have not heard.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I know that the second. I haven't really watched the second season, to be honest with you. But I hear that they make sense of the spore drive and how that technology is like in my mind. I'm like, that doesn't line up with the cage, you know. But now, according to what they did, apparently, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, so. lots of tie-ins. There's a whole episode that ties in with Cage. Man, it's so great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely worth watching if you want to. I would say definitely watch this season. You'll enjoy it. There's lots of stuff. They do correct things. There's lots of stuff where you're like, what the crap is that? And they kind of fix it later during the series. So they're getting it closer. So we'll see what they actually do with a season 3, or they may just change the name of the show.
Yeah. If you're a Star Trek fan, it's a really good time. There's so much like out and so much like on the way. I found the verbiage here. It says the new CG animated series will follow a group of lawless teens who discover a derelict Starfleet ship and use it to search for adventure, meaning, and salvation. So there you go. It has the pair behind Troll Hunters and Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu, and Roddenberry Entertainment, obviously. And then you got Nick and CBS on board as well.
Does it say? I just wonder, like, when is it set? I would say more than likely it's probably going to be set like TNG, the Voyager era.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, probably. It doesn't say. But there's gonna be this. There's Discovery. There's Lower Decks, which is another animated show.
That's the one
that's the Rick and Morty ones.
Yeah. That one's supposed to be pretty good though.
Yeah, right. There's gonna be a Picard show, and then another one, I think, with Michelle Yeoh's character, right? They're doing one with just her.
Yeah, I heard that was just gonna be like a mini series.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. So,
like I said, I haven't watched it in the last episode, so I don't know what happens to her in this one.
mm-hmm.
She's still around, let me tell you that.
Okay.
Spoilers.
There you go.
But you kind of picked up from the series.
Yeah, right. Kind of figured. So then another show. Do you guys have a DC Universe subscription? No. Okay. So the next show that will be coming out, Doom Patrol is going on right now. Will be Swamp Thing, which doesn't tie into like Titans and Doom Patrol tied in together, shared universe. Swamp Thing's its own thing. It was originally planned to be 13 episodes. They dropped they were shooting, I don't remember what city they were in, but then the production, everybody on the set got the news, hey, stop right now, stop whatever you're doing. And the word is that they decided to go from 13 episodes to 10 episodes. So I'm assuming they were filming like 11, 12, or 13, one of those episodes.
Right.
Like, you're done. Stop it.
Right.
And then people were like, oh my God, does that mean that DC Universe is in trouble? Is the show not coming out? People were like really reading into it. I don't think that necessarily means it's in a bad way. Maybe it was just too expensive, something like that. That obviously is budgetary reasons. But then you have the fact that, like, for example, Netflix, right? They cut some of their shows down. Like, how long was Defenders, right? I think Punisher, the second season was 10 episodes, right? They cut that down too.
Yeah.
When you cut it down, it doesn't mean it's bad. Maybe you have to rework how it closes out the series, but that doesn't mean it's bad. So that's fine. But then people are talking as well about, how do they position themselves better against Disney Plus, which is coming out. That's not Marvel, right? If you compared them, it would be DC Universe to like a Marvel streaming, but it's Disney, so they have all this other content they can put out, right? So what DC Universe should do, what I think would be a good idea, is if they kind of merge their streaming with Warner Media's streaming and opened up all of that, opened up their audience, opened up their library of content. I think that would position them, even at that same price point, which is $1 more than what Disney Plus are going to be, really favorably, in terms of like the whole streaming war thing. So what do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's all just kind of really, there's so many streaming services, so much streaming going on. I don't know if I see them combining specifically. Just because the toughest part is trying to figure out the pay model that's going to work the best, and what kind of content that they are looking to provide. And so it's just, I don't know. I mean, when it comes to streaming, there's just a lot of players in the game right now, or players in the game that are coming in.
Oh yeah.
It used to be such a small group, and now it's just like, it seems like
it used to just be Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
That's it.
And Yeah, and then now it's just, I mean, now YouTube's involved, and so is DC, and you have, I mean, HBO had their own thing for a little bit too, and it's just like
HBO
it
Go,
just like everybody
Yeah.
with their own like kind of streaming and this and that. So
Hulu,
I mean, I
Amazon.
don't know who I'd see combine forces to kind of see if they can kind of draw away some attention from some of the other places, but I mean, I don't think I would see necessarily. It's so tough to say because I don't know who I would kind of give the edge enough to go ahead and say, you know what, let's merge with this one, or let's sell off our name to you guys and combine with you and something like that.
Right.
It's just tough.
Well, Warner owns Disney. I mean, sorry, Warner owns DC.
Yep.
So that's why that would make sense, and that's kind of a similar relationship that Marvel has with Disney, right? So I that's why I suggested those particular ones. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I just think there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are. At some point, you got to cut the cable fully.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Just
is like
do the streaming services.
Yeah, you got to do that. But then you also, I mean, at this point, realistically, like you can look at all the streaming services, and you're paying about the same. So now you're looking at like, which streaming services really offer me what's going to match like my personal interest the most, you know?
Right,
Yep.
exactly. So think about the cable package that you have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, how many channels is it?
A bazillion.
Right, and how many do you watch?
7.
Okay, and
that.
You have the price that you pay for it. Now take that same price, you pick your streaming services, and now you're paying that, but now you have all of these shows that you like.
Oh yeah.
No. So I think that you're getting, it's the same money, but you'll be getting a lot more value for that same money. You know what I mean? Because that a la carte aspect.
Kind of generally there.
I can agree with that. I had a discussion with one of my coworkers about this morning, and here's what's going to happen with that, especially if cable really starts seeing a dip in subscription, and if there's a way that, I mean, if there's basically a lull in what they're going to get, if they're going to end up taking a hit for all this, then what's going to happen, at least in my thoughts of it, is going to be that they will end up having a situation where they're going to have to find a way to recoup some of that money they're losing. And so because everybody's moving to a subscription service or a streaming service, they're going to end up doing something where they have to increase the price of your internet bill. So that's going to happen. It's like, if you have, let's say you are able to, with the streaming services, let's say you get 3 of them and they cost you $30 a month, and you're like, yeah, that's cool, I get this. Don't be surprised if your internet bill goes from being whatever it is to being able to, to running those. If you get off a cable, or if it ends up being just like a max access from cable, don't be surprised if it's like $70 a month for internet, and then
that's true. Yeah.
paying the exact same thing that you were before, just to multiple different entities rather than just one.
But that's and a lot of people, that's a good concern. A lot of people are going to be like stuck with a cable provider, like their neighborhoods, the area they're in, they have no other choices. But in the areas where there are choices, like Google Fiber or AT&T and things like that, cable won't be able to compete.
Yeah,
they'll just go away in those areas completely, because everybody's just going to get, we don't need your cable, we just want the internet.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too to think about is don't you can't quite count everything out either, just because if you look at it in the terms of that, well, all right, so you just have internet service providers, and if you have multiple of them or whatever it is, don't be surprised if just because they were having that whole thing about how the net neutrality thing, don't be surprised if the way that packages are done, if you're not going to end up having like strict bandwidth rules where you're going to end up having to pay for a certain amount of band, and if you go over it, and if all of your media that you're going to use is streaming, you're going to end up paying extra money in overcharges for using too much bandwidth and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things. Just like,
good point.
There's all these different like roadblocks and hurdles that are all going to be set up to try to get you, like if they're going down, they're going to go down in a way that's like, all right, look, if we're going to lose this product, we're going to make this money back somehow, and it's gonna and so you never know how everything's going to kind of shake out. I like the reason I bring it up too is because when I was so for a little bit I went to school out in Arizona and I worked for a company that did internet tech support for a place for Canada. And it was for Bell in Canada, and they had that exact model where it was just like, okay, so you guys have this much bandwidth based on this and that and everything, and so it was just like one of those things where they were constantly having to sit there and look at the amount of bandwidth they were using, and they were getting overages if they went over, and then there was like, well, we have this next plan that's $200 a month, but you'll have more than enough bandwidth to do what you got to do. So, and I don't know. I mean, I know the providers that we have up here don't do that, but I mean, I don't know if they've actually started doing things like that or started with packages like that around the country. But that's the only thing that kind of makes me nervous, is because I feel like it makes you too like. I guess you can't fully go out and just enjoy and do whatever you want. You kind of have to now pay attention to what you're doing, because if you overuse it, then you're gonna have to pay. Yeah, you have to pay that money. Bell sucks. See, NES Master knows what I'm talking about. But that's dude. It was years ago. I'll say that was years ago, and I was in school, man. I was when you're in college, you gotta have money. So that's what happened. So I apologize for anybody that unfortunately suffers at the wrath of Bill and how they did, but that's just one model that I've seen, and I know it doesn't happen here specifically, but that could be what's coming with all this cut the cord stuff and everything. Not saying don't do it. I mean, because some people will, just like with regular cable, some people just with television are just satisfied with just having the channels that you can access for free, or just the basic package. So some people just like, all I want is Netflix, pay my $12 a month and just be happy with that. And then you have people that want it all, and you end up running into trouble.
Yeah. I guess that would be a good time to invest in like fiber optics and broadband companies. So they have to upgrade the infrastructure, right?
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Discovery Bay. Also, he's here.
What's up, Discovery Bay?
All right, cool. So let's talk about War of the Realms. Have you guys been following it? I know you have, Justin.
Yeah.
How's it been for you?
Good. I've enjoyed it. Like, I mean, first issue, you're like, the first issue's been out. So what happened to Odin in the first issue? You're like, there's no way. And then, they kind of tell you what happened there in the second issue. So that was good. I was kind of confused.
Yeah, right.
Like, what's going on? And then, everything that's going on with Jane, like that's been like probably the biggest news to come out of War of Realms. Really, is everybody's so excited about what's happening with that character. And
right, we could talk about it. She's Valkyrie now, right?
Right,
she's no longer with Thor.
She's also the All-Mother, which confuses me. So I'm hoping
she's basically Frigga,
right?
She's pulling double duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So not only, oh wow, that's messed up. So I used to date your son, but now I'm the All-Mother as well. So
right,
I'm your stepmother.
She's also in full remission, so that's some really huge news.
Right.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, the second issue was great. I liked War Scrolls, the Daredevil story. I thought was really cool. Daredevil basically taking over the role of Heimdall. So cool stuff. What do you think, man?
I think it's pretty cool. I like that. I like that the first issue was a little bit. It was funny because it just kind of reminded me of a little bit of an old comic, because there was a lot of dialogue in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, like there's a lot of reading to this. It's pretty cool.
Well, you got to think about it though. Like a lot of those characters that are in that book like to dialogue. They or monologue. They just love to hear themselves talk, and that's so many villains pop up that's all those pages are some bubbles.
Yeah, so I mean that was kind of cool. I like that. You getting that kind of cool dialogue just to kind of build the story a little bit, just because you don't want to sit there and just get into the point where it's like, all right, well, action, 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 action. But why are they all fighting? Like, what's going on? So I like that they're doing it in this way. But yeah, I think it's been pretty solid and pretty good story. Are
you just picking up the main book? Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I also picked up the Uncanny X-Men. It's just I guess a one shot, or maybe there's 2 issues. I don't know, but it was a number 1 Uncanny X-Men War of Realms special. So I wanted to check that one out.
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men's been really good so far, or recently. So I'll probably end up reading the normal Avengers tie-in also. The only one that I didn't read was the Punisher one. Came out like last week or something, I guess.
Yeah, we're standing on top of the Frost Giant's head.
Yeah.
Does they have magic bullets or something?
I mean, I don't know. Those guys are I mean, they can get cut, so you would think they're not bulletproof.
Yeah, true.
Put enough bullets in a Frost Giant's heart, I guess it dies. I don't know.
Yeah. But overall, I think it's been a pretty good series. I think that I mean, it's only 2 issues in, but I think it's been pretty good so far. And I like how they're trying to take a lot of people out of their normal roles and trying to give them a little bit extra and kind of give you a different glimpse of some of the heroes that are out there and how they're going to be able to get together and use different strategies and powers and team ups and everything like that to go ahead and fight what's going on and try to stop this War of the Realms from destroying the Midgard.
Everything.
It's pretty cool. I think that overall so far for our first 2 issues it's a pretty solid story.
Right. I like that this is like a cosmic story, War of the Realms, the gods and but they're taking these like grounded street level characters from Marvel and using them. Like that's really like
whoever
Daredevil, you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't expect him to be,
Heimdall.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm interested, or as it goes, it'd be really cool to see like what the lasting effects with certain characters are going to be. I mean, of course, we're going to have Jane, who gets this ridiculously can do anything weapon, so that's weird. But
yeah,
they kind of made that. I don't know.
What's Broomhilda doing?
I don't know. Which one? The original one?
Yeah.
Or the one from Exiles?
Either one,
the movie.
I guess.
Right? So we get
Tessa Thompson.
Right. Yeah. No, she's in the Exiles book, but she was from a different dimension. So.
Oh, okay.
So that one's off the table. The original Valkyrie does show up. But spoilers. The reason Jane has to take over and become a Valkyrie is because there ain't no Valkyries left.
Someone got to do it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Somebody got slaughtered, so somebody's got to do it. So right. My only thing, the last thing on this is it's called War of the Realms, which that's been brewing all throughout Thor, since the relaunch, I guess. So that's been going on. Well, no, it's been going on longer than that. It's been going on since Jane got the hammer. Yeah, that's when it started.
Yeah, basically Aaron's whole run.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is a culmination of everything he's done.
Yeah, but when she got the hammers, this stuff was going on, but anyway, what I was saying was that at this point, it's called War of the Realms, but it should just be called War of the Realm because all the other realms have already been conquered.
True. Yeah. Yeah. It's the last realm.
Mm-hmm. And is this an event?
Didn't they promise us that they wouldn't do events for a while?
They're being played for it, but yeah, I would have to say this kind of qualifies with all the tie-ins. It has.
This touches a ton of books, a ton of characters. This is especially because it's happening in normal runs of books or getting a crossover issue.
Right. Yeah.
So that makes it an event to me.
Absolutely. And then right after this ends, we're going to be right into Absolute Carnage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the X-Men Hickman.
Yes.
That hits at the same time.
Powers
I'm going to read that. I'll probably stay out of Carnage, but I'll read the X-Men stuff.
I don't know. I'm going to get the Carnage. Other than Maximum Clonage, I've liked all those kind of variations on that. So I'm definitely going to check it out. Brian says the Punisher Kill Crew is set to the...
which is Savage Avengers.
Yeah. with
Conan, Elektra. Oh, yeah, I'm picking that book up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's going to be cool. Another one I'm looking forward to is Silver Surfer Black. That's gonna be really cool. Donny Cates on that.
Yeah, that'd be fun to see how he's gonna write Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Who's doing the art in that series? Do you remember? Or what did they even tell us? I wonder. As long as it's not Mike Allred, which I love on some things, but not on Silver Surfer.
I want to say Ryan Sook for some reason.
I would probably work.
Yeah. So, since we're talking about events, let's talk about the Distinguished Competition, Heroes in Crisis. Have you guys been reading that?
Yep.
I haven't been reading it, but I've been keeping up with it on Comics Explained.
Okay. So, there's the sanctuary and stuff, where these people go and, they're having
work out their issues,
mental health crises and, various other crises. On top of this whole thing, the whole thing is about a mystery. A bunch of people got murdered, and who did it? Who done it, right? When we started off, it sure looked like old Harley did it, right?
Yep.
Should we do spoilers?
I mean,
it's hard to talk about this without doing a spoiler.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know. I mean, it's up to you, Chris. It doesn't matter to me. I'm fine with either way.
Yeah, it's fine, I think. I mean, it's how many? Right. 6 issues into it, so it's just like,
no, it's done.
Oh, it's done. Well, then, yeah, you can't get mad at that.
Okay, so spoiler alert. If you're so there you go. Fair warning. Spoiler alert. I'll put it in the chat too. Spoiler alert. Boom.
Spoiler alert. Boom.
Pause.
Yeah, I see it.
We'll do something.
Hold on, I'm gonna get back.
There we go.
Spoiler.
Okay. Spoilers. Yep. When Justin turns off his camera again, you're safe. You can come back. You can unmute. All right. Okay. So the big thing, the big reveal ends up being with Mr. Wally West, right? Wally West had this big thing happen with him where basically he couldn't contain the Speed Force energy, and it explodes, and that explosion from him is what kills everybody. And that's fine. That was like a moment of weakness. That's something that you can be like, okay, well, you know what? So that wasn't so much the bad thing. The bad thing is what he did afterwards, right?
Yeah, like what, a speedster normally does.
Yeah. But he wanted to, he knew that he killed all these people from the Speed Force, and he's like, oh shit, what? I don't want people to know I did this. So he's a hero, but what he did was go back and basically try to set up Harley and set up these people and make it like he didn't do it, which is pretty devious and pretty evil,
Yep.
So the question is, he did this. He planned for this. He was lucid and conscious and planned it out. And does that mean that he is no longer a hero because he did this?
Or does that further solidify the reason why he was there in the first place?
Right. Exactly. Right.
But the time, he spent how long in the Speed Force?
A long time.
In real people years, over 20 years.
Yeah.
So, they could really just attribute it to that. It could be like a PTSD type thing that he was really going through. Or could this be the change that would then give us the Flash's ultimate villain?
Yeah.
Which would be upsetting for a lot of fans for Wally to go rogue.
Yeah.
Permanently.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are already upset.
Yeah. People have been upset since this thing started. Halfway through the first couple issues, you were like thinking Booster Gold might have done it.
Right, exactly.
It was like Booster was the one that killed these people, and it wasn't Holly at all. It was Booster, and that's why she stabbed him, because she was trying to stop him from, continuing on with what he was doing. But,
Ooh, okay, hold on. Daniel Ibarra, thank you, man. He said, if you don't want spoilers for Avengers, don't look at the Key Collectors app.
Yes, I saw that. Don't do that at all, because they were saying they have the spoil. So basically, that one is basically letting you know what's going to happen in the movie based on the key issue. So if for those who are trying to look at,
don't look at that,
because the big speculation, this is what happens, sell these books, blah blah blah. Yeah, I remember that. It's a good thing he brought that up, because I had seen that, And I was like, no, thank you. You're not going to tempt me like that. Not at all. So, yes, avoid that on the app.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying, it's a very, like, strange situation with that, as far as, like, how everybody kind of, of course, is the whole whodunit aspect of it. And I remember, at one point or another, people were just like, oh, like, it's got to be somebody manipulating, based on some of the different, what do you call it? Safe room videos, whatever it is, the sanctuary videos that they were having, what would just be like them in the booth, kind of like when you watch a reality show where they're in that booth, giving their inner thoughts and everything. Some people were speculating that, well, because you see Batman kind of break down and cry, and it's just like, well, Batman wouldn't do that. So maybe Psycho Pirate's behind all this, and he's helping manipulate, people's emotions in their minds, to try to. Someone's working with Psycho Pirate to kind of get people out of their normal state, and maybe that person, who's pulling the strings behind the scenes and having Psycho Pirate mess with people's heads is who inspired them to go out and kill. So that's why. That was a theory that was floating around, which is why people are like, oh no, Booster Gold did it. He killed these people and how he stopped them. So, I just think that, overall, I mean, it's gonna take a crazy turn to figure out what's gonna happen with Wally, how they're gonna resolve it. As far and Justin brings up a good one where it's like, oh, it could be a PTSD thing where they just figure they need to give him help, or I mean, if he does go rogue and does turn evil, how, like, he's gonna have an emotional edge over everybody, and he knows how they all work. It's just like, I mean, I think it'd be more interesting to see him become a villain, just because of the fact that he's had such a long run as a hero that it's just like, this could be, I mean, a really cool, different path for him. So,
yeah, that's true. There was a similar kind of debate with Jean Grey when she became the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make a character that did such a horrible thing redeemable? How do you bring them back to being a hero again?
Oh, yeah.
And they had their way to do it with that, which was it was two separate entities. It wasn't her.
Yeah, it wasn't really her
being possessed. But it's an interesting thing to explore, I guess you could say. Yeah.
And it's definitely a series I want to go back and read. Yeah. Now that it's over,
right?
Because I'm sure there was so much in those first few issues that, how that was like 3-4 months ago. That I'm sure we missed
this is one that would be perfect as a trade.
Yeah,
exactly, and that's what I was waiting for it to come out as. And the thing too is, like I said, like I have been keeping up with it through watching, just kind of videos of someone else explain it. So it was just like, the way I was understanding things was basically how they were interpreting it, which is, just at times, I mean, they're caught up in the moment and telling you like, oh, this is what I think is going on. And it's just like, and sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. So it's just like, to kind of go back and just see what it is that I missed and kind of be able to be like, oh, all right. So now I can connect the dots a little better than trying to kind of piece it together based off of, how somebody else saw it is probably, going to be a good thing. So when it comes out in trade, I'll end up picking it up. I just wonder, the lasting effects of it and everything like that are going to be kind of, kind of cool to see, I think. And I remember, a similar situation with Batman, following that Tower of Babel storyline, where it was just like, well, how do you, like, you had plans to take us all out and they didn't realize it, and they were just like, that's some bullshit, man. You had plans to kill every single one of us. He's like, well, only if you guys lost control. I have to. I can't just have you guys running around tearing things up. And they come out of the Justice League. But then I feel like they kind of went ahead and I feel like they somewhat repaid Batman for doing that in Identity Crisis, when it's just like when they see that they're like kind of holding on to it's the scene where all the where everybody's kind of grabbing on to Deathstroke, and then Dr. Light remembers that they did the same thing to him and brainwashed him, and then Batman wasn't on board for it, and they had Zatanna like pretty much mind wipe him too, and then he's like, you guys did something that was even worse than what I did, anything I've ever done. You went ahead and forcibly removed my memory to make me go along with something that was completely wrong, because Batman's like, we can't do this. Like, he did a horrible thing and he needs to know that he did it, like turning him into a vet, just taking it out of his mind is not the right thing to do. And I remember Wally was not on board with that either. Like Wally at the time was like, "This is completely wrong. I can't believe we did this to another Justice League member." So
Yep, I remember that.
So that, I mean, it's kind of fun to see the heroes kind of go down those paths where it's just like, that they have to do something that is underhanded or devious to kind of make themselves just to kind of, I guess, for the greater good. So
Right.
we'll see.
Or it's just a way for them to, like, they've overcome so much. There's characters with so much history. How do you give them a new challenge? Maybe that newest challenge is themselves. How do you overcome that? And I'm saying that, and I'm thinking about Secret Empire and Captain America, Hydra Cap. Like, people didn't like it, but he was able to kind of like overcome that basically, and like come back to his like good self. You know what I mean? Well, sort of.
Yeah.
And that was just who was it? Nick Spencer, right? It was a creative way for him to give him a new challenge that hadn't been done before. And he's like the greatest thing that's defeated everything. So what would be the greatest thing to go up against, which would be himself, right? And that's going to be a lot of things like with this, a lot of these characters having to deal with themselves, and it's much more of like an emotional, psychological story. You know what I mean? For them to have to fight through that. But
and I think that
good.
The one thing that's better about it than Secret Empire was just that it didn't fall flat like Secret Empire did. It wasn't written as
well, yeah. There's that.
Secret Empire, I think, could have worked. You could have had an evil Cap, so long as it was like, if they didn't try to make his entire origin that he's been a spy this whole time and this and that, and then if they didn't go ahead and do like a situation where it's just like, okay, and the backstory is like, oh well, this cosmic cube and living entity of it just changed everything. Like that was what killed it all. It was just like, dude, so this is this, and then that's what got him to the point where it was such a bad explanation that he had to sit there and beg people like, please just let it come out before you make judgments, please.
Yeah, they were like, please keep reading it.
Yep. So
yeah. So, all right, cool. Well, we'll be continuing to read those. I can't wait to pick up the trade for Heroes in Crisis. That's going to be fun to have. Hopefully, they do a hardcover for that.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, right.
Format, something awesome.
Right. Yeah, that'll be good. So, Chris, I know you said that you'd go into the show on Sunday, right? Are you going to do a video for it? What else do you have coming up on your channel?
Oh, I'm going to show up. So I'm going to that on Saturday.
So
right? I will because I'm going to be a little busy pretty busy on Sunday. I'm not sure if I'll be able to have a video up, but if I can, I will go ahead and show that. I also got the new books that I picked up on my for this week, and just pretty much just updating a couple things here and there, and just kind of showing off the books. So following that con, I'm gonna be able to show and showing the books that I got signed as well. So like I definitely have a video up for my con, and then also one for the hall, and just anything else that kind of pops up as far as if I'm able to get any more of my top books, because we'll see. Going to a con, you never know. But that's what I have coming up on my channel, just con stuff, and then just showing off the books I pick up. So
sweet.
Yep,
good stuff. How about you, Exhaust Day Comics?
Good stuff. As always, something except for last week. So Sunday Morning Comics will definitely be back this week. So I'll talk about Avengers Endgame, hopefully I don't know. I'll see what the chat wants to do, if we spoil it or not. But I'll definitely give my thoughts Sunday morning on that. Plus, talk about some Magic, go over some books, probably talk some more about War of the Realms as it's kind of progressing. So, and also, of course, on Friday over on Comic Frontline, Friday or Saturday will be the reviews. So I'll have a couple of those up this week, including the Uncanny X-Men War of the Realms tie-in. Gonna definitely write that one, probably some other book. And then, of course, on Monday, new comics list over at Comic Book at the end of that. So definitely check that out if you can. So, new comics list. Woo!
Awesome. Good stuff. And there are links for everybody's channel and stuff down in the description. So check those out if you get a chance. As well as Edwin, of course, he's down there too. I got a video coming out on, I guess I'll do it Saturday. That's one of those planned ones. Another one. So it's going to be, for me, I guess Tuesday and Saturday will be the two days that I do the like origin videos. So I got one coming up this weekend, one next week, then obviously this show, and then something cool for that next weekend, which will actually be May the 4th. So it's going to be a Star Wars video. So I got that coming up. I got two different hauls I need to do. One is just back issues. One is like I got a short box full of everything that worked out to be 22 cents a piece.
Oh man,
Some
Nice.
good stuff in it, right? So I'm excited to do that. And that's pretty much it for me. Just trying to be consistent with the output and everything. This show will be up to stream tomorrow. You know, what do you call them? iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all that. It'll be up for you to stream anywhere you want. So definitely check that out. I do want to give some shout outs to the people in the chat. Thank you for being here. If you are watching this later, I know we get quite a few people watching this after it's live, especially on a day like tonight where there's a bunch of stuff on TV. You know, Avengers is out. So hopefully those people, when they come back, will want to check out the show. And when you do, go ahead and drop us a comment. We'll continue that conversation down there in the comments. But that's it for this episode, everybody. This is Jesse, Justin, and Chris. Comic Conversation, 75% of the panel. We'll be back next week.
Yep.
So have a good night.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
have a good one.